Hey guys, if you didn't know, Foxhole had a little update recently, and this update brought a few things I think are important for the current state of the game. But first, you should hit that like, subscribe, throw a comment below for the algorithm god.
Kylie, please.
Now, this isn't the big old update we're all waiting for, like 1.0, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's hyped for 1.0, but that's it, ain't it? This is not it. Update 49 is a smaller maintenance update, okay. I guess that focuses on low-key improvements, like optimizations, there's bug fixes, there's some balance going on, and there's some other things. But we got some quality of life changes and some new toys, which are like the key things I wanted to highlight here. So let's talk about the juicy stuff first. We got 2 new tanks coming to the late tech tree. You got the 86KC Ronzer assault tank for the Colonials. It's like the Bardich with quad mounted RPGs and it has a 12.7 millimeter cannon. It's basically a PvE tank. And so, you Colonial players can stop complaining on Reddit about not having any PvE options, because now you fucking got one. Fuck your life! Next up, for the Wardens, we have the Gallagher Highwayman Mark III. This cruiser tank has a rotating MG turret and twin anti-tank cannons. And from my understanding, it seems to be a expensive PvE vehicle, I guess, to make. I forgot how much it costs or whatever, but I guess it can destroy light armored vehicles really well. But I guess in terms of fighting another tank, probably not that great. But nonetheless, we'll see how this tank gets utilized for the Wardens. I don't know how it's going to be utilized other than maybe fighting, lightly armored stuff and maybe some PvE, infantry, etc. But other than that, those are the 2 tanks we got for this update. And some quality of life stuff I'd like to talk about. And I'm sure you're all aware of the great vehicle physics that came with this update. So basically track and wheel drive vehicles with wheels and tracks, they should have more realistic behavior when going over uneven terrain and rubble, and they kind of look goofy when depending on what they're going over. Just make sure you set your FPS to 60 while you're driving. Just kidding, they supposedly fixed that issue, even though I saw vehicles still doing that today. But it's fixed, okay? It's fixed. Also, abrupt lag spikes at bridges should no longer throw you or your truck into the ocean, but I'm sure it's still going to happen. And then, some balance changes I'd like to talk about. And I guess they did some changes to the sniper rifles. And so the Clancy and the Auger, if I said that right, they got some things done to them. Both rifles had their stability gain decreased. You cannot stand or fire without full cover now. Movement speed penalty increased, and you can't fire these rifles from barges or APCs anymore. I don't know why you can't do that. I like being able to shoot from a barge. I think it's cool, but I guess it makes sense since the range and everything's kind of OP and you're on a barge in the middle of the ocean. So I guess that's a much needed fix, right? But for the individual rifles themselves, so the Clancy had its crate size reduced from 5 to 3 and its high velocity rate reduced to 35%, and the Auger had its high velocity reduced to 25% and its refined material costs increased from 15 to 25. Now, in general, snipers and Foxhole are kind of weird, to be honest. I've tried using them a few times and I don't know, at times they seem really OP and other times they seem like a good asset to use. So I don't know, I'm sure Foxhole's gonna fucking tweak the shit out of it in the near future regardless. So other gameplay changes, sandbags, walls, tier 1, and fire pit build sites are now destroyed, so when rammed with the vehicle, so we can't block vehicles anymore. So we can't, troll each other or whatever. And for builders, there's this demolish feature now. I'm not a builder, but I thought this was already in the game, but I guess it wasn't. But that's a huge quality of life change for builders, so that's cool. And then, I guess now structured buildings or whatever can provide warmth during snowstorms, which I assumed that was a thing, but I guess it wasn't. And you know, really, there's a bunch of other things in these notes. There's a lot of, like I said, balance changes, a bunch of weapons. I'm not going to cover that. It's out of my brainwave, you know, like if you really want to get into it and read about all of it, you know, there's the patch notes you can go find. I'll put the link below. I just wanted to cover some of the things that I kind of understand and what I thought was cool. And then, you know, as well, there is a video by I Saw a Bear, and he goes over this update way more in depth than I do. He's probably smarter and understands it better than I do. And that link to that video will be below in the description as well. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the front.
Fucking like and subscribe.